You're fine. You watch Justina, right? It's the same thing. Hey guys, I'm here tonight with Diana Register, and we are going to talk about her books. Um, there's a lot with this one. We've got one end where she's writing about grief life and sad make you cry books. Good work with the props. And another end where it's about her kid being, a kid. So anyway, Diana, would you like to kind of start off by talking about maybe when you got started writing, what got you into it, just the basics of who is Diana, and Caitlin, her daughter, will be here tonight.
Well, there's a lot. I actually started writing when I was a little kid. Like I always wanted to write. And in middle school, I wrote this whole like love story about this kid named Johnny with curly brown hair who was willing with me at a carnival, and we were on a roller coaster, and that was like my whole book was about him trying to get me on this roller coaster, which would adequately describe my love life for the rest of my life. So either way, it was, I just always have written. And then after Chad died, I really felt like I needed some kind of outlet, and I'm not very creative with like pictures and Pinterest stuff and whatever. So I just decided that I was going to write a book about how I felt, and hopefully it would get some of the stuff I needed to get out. And then I was hoping it was really going to help other people understand that they were normal and that none of it felt normal, but they were normal. That makes sense.
Right. No, it does. And I think maybe if you back up, because some people aren't going to know who's Chad and what that's about. So, I know those people, terrible people.
Yeah.
Hi, Michelle, Shelby, Watson.
Exactly. So my husband in 2015 was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. And at the time he was a police officer, and we had this very normal life. We had dated in high school, and then we broke up and we lost touch for 13 years. And then I remember it was in October of 2000, I think it was 2001, and he emailed me off of like classmates or something, and he said, do you, I don't know if you remember me. And I thought, remember you? Like I almost ended up in like a psychiatric ward over him because I loved him so much, when I was in high school and all the drama and everything that went with it. And I swear I loved him like, you couldn't believe. And so when he emailed me after 13 years, I thought, holy smokes, like, what am I going to do with this, right? And so I emailed him back and we started talking. Well, I specifically remember his email said something like, hey, it's your old buddy Chad. I don't know if you remember me. That was like the whole thing, right? He was a man of many words, obviously.
Yeah.
And so like then we started talking. Yeah. So years later, I found out that he sent out that email to like 50 people. Same thing. It's your old buddy Chad, or whatever. And he must.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. I thought I was special, but apparently not. So anyway, we started chatting on Classmates, and we got back together. And then he was living out of state, and then he moved back to California where I was. And then we immediately like decided we were going to get married, and we got married and had Caitlin, and I brought 2 kids and he brought 1. And anyway, 15 years later, he gets diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, and we're literally in the middle of this just kind of normal life. My daughter is a gymnast. My kids are going to school. We're doing all the normal things. And he had jaundice, and we couldn't really figure out why. So we went to the doctor, and they thought maybe he had hepatitis because of his job. So it would have been kind of fallen in line with that. And then the hepatitis panel came back negative, and then they decided to do, his doctor knew, and he just didn't say anything. So he sent us to the ER. And when we got to the ER, there was actually like a nurse waiting there to take him back. And that's when I thought, oh, shit, like there's something wrong.
Yeah.
And so, so then we got the diagnosis, and then we went on the whole, 18-month thing of trying to save his life, basically chemo and surgery and finding good doctors. And, it was very frustrating because we found very quickly that there's just not a lot for pancreatic cancer patients. And I think when you are with somebody and you're the caretaking or in love with or care about or whatever it is, somebody who has a terminal illness, like it's really, really, really hard. And you keep it all in and you're trying to be really strong and you're doing all the things. And so, like I remember I had written this email to a doctor and it basically like described Chad's condition and it was this plea for help, please help me. And I copied that email and I sent it to every single pancreatic specialist I could find in the world that had an article written, that had a website, that had anything. And I just cut and pasted one night.
I believe you. I know how you roll. You would.
Oh, yeah.
You're persistent. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so for like 6 hours, I just sent out these emails. And finally, one of these doctors came back and said, you've really pushed us to our scientific limits. Like, we don't know anything else. And that's when it felt really, really hopeless. So but the point of that is that you go through the whole process with them and you're doing all this stuff and you're so like invested, and then something happens and sadly, he passed away. And then all of a sudden your purpose, you don't know what your purpose is anymore. You wake up and you're like somebody's wife, and then you go to bed at night and you wake up the next morning and you're a widow. And how do you navigate that? Like, it just doesn't make any sense. It's like you're not anybody's wife anymore. You're not, the same mother, you're not the same friend, you're not the same daughter or sibling or anything because you're devastated and your whole life changed. And so
right.
It was in that moment where I thought, I decided to take all my frustration out on Facebook, and I was making all these posts about pretty much how much grief sucks. And eventually it just turned into to Grief Life, this book right here.
Right.
And I was, so, I really wanted to, do something with it, and I wanted it to be really helpful, I guess, Mm-hmm. And because I caught you in the middle of the night one night and was like, can you please publish this book? Because
I was like, lady, go away. And then, you told me this story. I'm like, great. Just what I need. Another one. Like, just throw it right on me. Sure. There is no way I could say no, but especially after that.
I was just going to keep messaging you until you said yes.
You did. I was like ignoring you for about 3 days. I'm like, I don't see that over there. I'm busy. But yeah, you were persistent. And I absolutely believe that you were persistent for Chad, like you still are. Look at you with pancreatic cancer awareness and all the 149 stuff that you do. So, I think that's such a credit to him and how much you love him currently, love. Mm-hmm. So it's a special book. And maybe, I don't know if you want to talk about it, but maybe Grief Matters. You want to talk about that? Or are we going to keep that DL for now?
No, yeah. So I wanted to back up just a little bit. So after Chad passed away and I wrote the book, we were able to create a public charity called I Am 149. And what that is 149 was his badge number and his police badge number. And so we created this hashtag I Am 149, and it was basically like telling people that we're together, and really it could have been anybody, we're all 149 in some way. We're all facing something that's scary or fearful or just life. There's nobody has a life that's just going by the book. And so we wanted people to know they were in it together, and we wanted to create charity where we could grant wishes for people who were suffering from pancreatic cancer, because Chad was very generous through his life, and I always knew that. But it wasn't after he died that and I started hearing stories like where I figured out like where the and the like the bookshelf stuff, like I knew they were there, but I didn't know where they were. And come to find out, like he was just giving our stuff away because somebody was like, I really need this, and he was like, oh, I've got one of those here. Let me
I can see you doing that though too. I can. Yeah.
And so it was just his nature, to be very generous. And so we wanted to do that, but we also wanted to show people that they weren't alone. And
Right.
so that's the I Am 149 public charity.
Mm-hmm.
Pancreatic cancer awareness, we do as much as we can throughout the year, but we really kind of hit it in November. And we're just going to keep harassing people and knocking on doors, like legislatures, people who give away money, until they get enough money to find a cure for this disease. Now, if it was up to me, I'd quarantine until we found a cure for pancreatic cancer, but nobody wants to do that. So,
I know.
But anyway, so in the meantime, when I was writing the book and I was doing all my Facebook posts, I started writing articles, and Love What Matters started publishing them. And so it was awesome because it kept giving me this outlet every week where I could write about what that was going on.
Right.
I drove to the grocery store today and or I stopped at the red light and was crying, and it was Tuesday and it didn't mean anything to anyone else but to me. So I was able to write them, and people were resonating with it, and they were finding some peace, knowing that they weren't crazy. And so we're putting together, you're putting together a collection of those stories in a book called Grief Matters, because it does matter. And I
think people, that those little moments, like with my clients that have gone through grief stuff, it's those moments that are the hardest, because nobody talks about it or gets it. It's that, wait a minute, why isn't he rushing me through the grocery store or bitching about what brand of spaghetti sauce? Those things that make a marriage a marriage. What now? I get to get I don't want to get my own brand. I want to have that argument, and those things that are just gone unfairly. And with my clients, I mean, that's what they talk about. It's those little moments, and you don't see that written about. People don't, but where you have kept up with this as you experience those things, what a gift. Because like you said, it says you're not crazy. I mean, if you are, guess what? We all are, and we really all are anyway. So, there's that. But seriously, that is such a special gift, and what a healing thing for you to do too. To be able to say that out loud and name it, that this is effed up. It is. But I don't know. I mean, I can't speak from your point of view because I haven't lived it. It's just strong. You are strong.
Well, so I think there's some, I think what I've in it's hard for me to talk about this, I don't know. I don't want to pat myself on the back because
we can move on to
doing it.
So if it will help you, we can. Yeah.
I mean, because I know so many widows and widowers that are this, just like me. They just don't put pen to paper. But I think there's some vulnerability in saying, like what you said. I went to the grocery store today, and this happened or this didn't happen because he wasn't there, or
right.
It took everything I had, and I'm sure most know this, and if not, they do now. But it took a lot for me not to punch them in the face when they complained about their husband snoring or the thing their husband did that day that was irritating or whatever. And I thought I would do anything to hear Chad snore, anything, And so it was those things were difficult, and I needed a place to put them. And
yeah.
And I think that people often think, and rightly so, that the holidays are hard, because the holidays are hard. But I think for me, what I found is I wanted to be alone more on the holidays than I wanted to be alone on a Sunday afternoon, For some reason, the first holidays that came around, I just kind of felt like I just don't want to do it. And I had to give myself permission to not do what I would have normally done. So I did, stuff for the kids and, stuff like that. But I had to tell myself, it's okay if you don't want to go overboard and do all the things, and you'll find new traditions and you'll do some of the stuff you want to do. And over the years, that'll change. And that's okay, because there's nothing, if I hear the term the new normal one more time, I'm going to scream, because there's nothing normal about it. And you just have to find what's working for you and then get rid of what doesn't. And some of grief is very liberating because you can like look somebody in the face and go, you know, I just don't want to hear you talk anymore because whatever you're saying is either wrong or irritating or hurts me or doesn't fit in my life anymore. So I need you out of my life. You're making those decisions much easier once you go through grief. It's almost a gift. You know what's important and what's not important, and you just, you know, and we all know there's another book coming out where I withstood a relationship after Chad died that was really, really unhealthy. But that's a whole nother story about, you know, the way I was dealing with stuff. But when I finally told him to get out, it was just as liberating as it was to get rid of all the negative people in my life after Chad died. You know.
Good. I'm glad. And I'm glad you did that. Like, bye-bye. Good job. And I'm not I don't want to say the word normal, but that is a typical part of the grief process. You're all over the place. And you're still here standing, and it sounds like doing better now. So yeah, maybe doing better, a little better.
I mean, it never goes away. You know what I mean? The grief never goes away. And I recently wrote an article about how, you know, if you personify grief and how, you know, it like sits in your house and it messes up your hair and throws trash on the floor and it screws everything up. But once you learn how to live with grief with you, it's like having a bad roommate, you know. But once you learn how to live with grief, it makes your life a lot easier. And then you will surround yourself with people who understand that. So, you know, obviously my kids understand that, although it took them a while to catch up in their grief. Like they weren't wanting to talk about their grief as quickly as I was, you know.
Right.
And I'm dating somebody now who understands my grief and it's not an issue. It's not a problem. It's just part of who I am. You know, that's nice. Good. That's really nice.
That's got to feel good that you don't have to justify it or hide it, you know?
Yeah.
You don't have to
I don't hide the crazy anymore.
Never hide the crazy. It's an uphill battle.
Yep.
All right. So let's talk about other books that are maybe not as you know, hard.
Okay.
This is hard.
Do I need to bring in my special guest?
I would love to see the assholes.
I gotta text her and tell her to come down here.
Oh gosh. Yeah, that's how we communicate here too. I'm like, can you get off Xbox for an hour?
You know what? I feel like texting, like I know it has its problems and you lose its tone and you can, you know, whatever, people misinterpret. But I'll tell you something, it's the best thing in the world with my kids, the teenagers, because I don't ever.
Oh my gosh. Same thing.
She's gonna, I'm not going to tell you what she just said me. She'll be right back.
That's all right. That's cool. I think that too. Like my mom's like, don't you miss him? And I'm like, I mean, I guess, but considering I'm currently texting him I know where he is at all times because it's a text away. I think as a parent, so good texting to have
and
that.
It cuts down on the yelling and screaming.
It does. It's like, yo, you're not home. I'll be there. But you don't even have to have the friction of it. The K usually tells you they're pissed, but that's all right.
Yeah.
Do you get K?
Or the, you know, like I'll text her and I won't get a response for like, you know, an hour until I send somebody to check on her. But it sure is nice that, you know, when dinner's ready and I just say, and I text her and say dinner's ready and she don't have to scream through the house, or we want to have an argument and we don't want anybody to listen. We can fight on text and nobody has to hear us. It's perfect.
Yeah, it sounds like we have the same life. Yep.
Right. So when she comes back down, she had to take a detour, but when she comes back down, so when I was writing the book Grief Life, you know, that's a lot of, there's a lot of emotions there, right? And a lot of them are sad. Like, I think there were parts of Grief Life that were humorous and there were parts that were very just real, but a lot of it's sad. I mean, you know, you're kind of recounting this really, really hard time in life. And so I needed an outlet, like I needed a comedic outlet because that's kind of who I am, is, you know, tries to find the positive, I guess. So one day, Caitlin so she was 13 when Chad died. And by the time she hit about 14 and a half, it was like awful, right? She was like the daughter my mother wished on me, you know, when I was a teenager. And yeah. Come on, here she comes. She's back. Are you coming? Anyway, so when here she is.
Hey, Caitlin.
Hi. So when she got to be like a certain age, she was really, you know, she's sassy and she was kind of difficult and stuff. And so I
know you don't like the word, but she was.
Yeah, exactly. So I made this joke and I said, you know what, I'm going to write a book called My Kid is an Asshole, because she was being, you know, she's being an asshole.
Right,
and,
right.
You know, we had to throw the dogs in there. So she came home one day and she told me that, I think we were arguing about her driver's license, and she had to have certain grades to be able to get her driver's license. And then she told me that if she didn't get the grades and then she didn't get her driver's license, then when she turned old enough to get her driver's license, that I could no longer complain about having to drive her around if I didn't let her get her driver's license because she didn't have the grades, right? But somehow this was going to be my fault.
Well, so, if you're the mom, it is your fault. You know that, right?
Right. So I wrote an article about it, and it was really funny. And then I thought, you know what, I'm just going to start documenting everything she does. Maybe she'll stop. And she didn't.
She didn't care, Mom. She titled that book.
Right. But the funny thing about it, though, is that everybody thinks it's all about her, but it's really, there's a little bit about her in the beginning, and then a lot of it is about my older kids.
I know. I read it, but I still think it's all about her because she's the one on the Grief Life cover. So it's like, you know.
Right. She is on the Grief Life cover. Do you remember that? What you were doing on the Grief Life cover?
Yeah, it's right there.
Oh yeah, it's right here. She's blowing glitter on Chad's grave. So, oh, look at that. She's just doing it like this for the rest of the.
Her face is covered. She's like, Mom,
But anyway, so she so like when I took the dishes away, when I took all the dishes away because I was so mad that my family wouldn't do the dishes, she was really young. It was my older kids that were doing that. And then that article got published on Love What Matters, and then people came after me because they said that I was like, they said I was crazy and that I had completely overreacted by taking the dishes away.
I know. I remember. They get even hurt over there sometimes. They do. That is a tough crowd on that Grief Life. Am I blipping out for you? Can you hear me, Diana?
Yeah, off and on.
It's that delay. I know I have it on this end too. I think it maybe nighttime is busier, but that crowd over there can be rough though. You know, some of the comments.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, anytime you put anything out publicly, you're going to get, you know, feedback, no matter what it is. I find though that with the grief articles, the audience is more, you know, grief people who are going through grief, so they understand it. But when I do one about kids, man, wow, you know,
I've seen it.
Yeah, like.
So how do you handle that?
Well, I used to stalk their Facebooks and see that they were like toddler moms, and then I was like, screw you guys, you'll see.
You don't even know what's coming. Yeah, yep.
Right. And now I just don't. I mean, I just don't. It doesn't hit me anymore like it used to, you know. The only time that I got really upset with an article, like really upset, was when, so I was going to California and I was taking Caitlin with me, and she was having a meltdown because she didn't want to leave her boyfriend. And
I remember this. Yep.
Yeah. And I was like dragging her through the airport and stuff, and you know, you could hear like just, you know, I mean, like seriously, if there had been a soundtrack, you know what I mean, and the wailing and just the horror music and everything was awful, and you know, whatever. Well, we get on the plane and we're still like, we're okay, right? We've got a Starbucks. We're starting to calm down a little bit. And then the airline lady was really, really mean to us. And she was like, remember her? Mm-hmm. Oh, she was mean. And then when she couldn't get a reaction out of us, she brought another airline person to try to get a reaction out of us. Well, anyways, I wrote this whole article about it, and then we get out, we go through it, we get to California, we end up having a great time, and we come back. Well, so I wrote a funny article about it, and people thrashed her, because she was upset about leaving her boyfriend. And then you would.
Right. I remember this. Yep, I do. I was thinking it was you,
Mm-hmm.
but no, it was her. Now you've got to like Mama Bear defend.
Yeah, I was pissed. So, and then you'd have people come on and go, "Do you not remember being 16 and having to leave your boyfriend, or your friends or whoever?"
Yeah, that sucks when you're 16. Yeah.
Right. Even when you're older, and not to mention that she had suffered a huge loss, not too long ago. So leaving and stuff is bigger for her, in a lot of ways. Her safety and her comfort and her anxiety. Oh man, I was mad. So I ended up addressing those women in another article about how, we all run around posting these things about sisterhood and tribe and being there for each other. And, it doesn't matter if you're 100 pounds overweight. It doesn't matter if you're too skinny. It doesn't matter as long as you know who you are inside. But then we're going to go on some place and say, well, you posted a public article, so we're going to trash your 16-year-old. When shouldn't we be teaching her what sisterhood is all about and tribe is all about? Whoa, I lost you there for a minute. Teaching her what sisterhood and this tribe is all about, and saying, hey, you know what? We've all been there. We've all been in a vulnerable place sometimes, and maybe it looks different, but we're here to support you even if we don't understand it. And that's kind of where I was hoping Grief Life would take people, and that's where I was hoping the kids' books, would take people, is just supporting each other. We're all in this together.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. All right. I want to open this up to the viewers that are watching. If you guys have any questions, anything for Diana, your memoir, kind of comedic, but also romantic suspense. Do you have any other genres?
Well, I have, what do I have? I have women's fiction.
I want to know if Caitlin's read any of your books. What books of yours has Caitlin read, and how do you feel about it, Caitlin? There's my viewer question.
I've only read My Kid is an Asshole and So is My Dog, but none of her others.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did you think of it?
I liked it.
I liked it. See, she's not afraid to say, this is who I am. That's great.
Well, I had her read it before I published it.
Right.
I didn't want there to be any surprises. I didn't want to hurt her feelings if she felt like there was something that, she didn't want to.
That she wouldn't want in there. I mean, it's obviously you don't really think she's an asshole. You think, well, she was 16. Really, it's your son that was the asshole in the whole book anyway. But, whatever.
She's I kind of think that a little bit. Just kidding.
Not the way she talks about you to me. She's always saying, that's my buddy.
Say that again.
I was saying, not the way you talk about her with me. You always make her sound like your buddy. I see you two as like this. Tight. Like you're like this.
Yeah, we are pretty much, but we're a lot alike, so we fight a lot.
I have that. My youngest and I are the same, so there's a lot of clash, but really he gets me, so there's give and take. Right. John Watts wants to know, is there a genre you haven't done that you would love to tackle?
I think I'm supposed to say horror here, right?
I was just thinking that. I'm like, you want you to say horror.
There's one of the dogs.
There we go. That's the one. That's the one I had in my head.
This is Cletus. Are you gonna look at the camera? He's a poser. You need Carl. Now,
that could be the cover right there.
My other one's a black and white that looks like the cover of the book, but
This is the one I remember from your pictures, though, that I've seen. Like, I've seen this dog around.
Yeah,
What
because
breed
he's,
is he?
huh?
What breed is he?
They're Shih
Breed.
Tzus. They're Shih Tzus.
Do they normally have longer hair, or is that just the way he's groomed? Because I thought they had longer hair.
Well, no, they do, but she shaved them.
Oh, okay. Well, that's why.
It's
It doesn't
hot.
look shit to me. Yeah. It's not hot here. It's snowing on Saturday. Snow.
It is? Oh no, it's hot here. Go get
Freezing.
Oh gosh, she's gonna go get the other one. In the
Okay,
meantime,
watch it says not horror, anything else. So there you go. You just open it up for you.
what are my choices?
Anything. He's saying any genre you haven't tried. Okay, here we go.
Actually, I am almost finished with a time travel book.
Wow.
How about that?
How far back are
Yeah.
you going? I love that.
So, in my time travel book, wait, here comes the other dog, and then I'll explain it to you. This is Carl. This is my dog.
No, they're all my dogs.
Oh,
Say hi.
what a sweetie. They both are, though.
No,
I
this
see
is my dog.
trouble.
Mhm.
Yep. Cute. Too
Can you
cute.
say hi? Say hi. Look, look. He looks like the book. Oh. So in my time travel book, my main character is an author, okay? And she is this like stay-at-home mom, and she's not very happy in her marriage and that kind of thing. And she's writing a book about a 17th century lady who is gonna fall in love with somebody outside of her class, right? So the whole book's about them trying to be together against all the odds and everything. Well,
Right.
her character. Oh, so you're reading both books. So you're reading my book about her, and then you're reading her book about her people, right? At the same time, and so it just kind of goes back and forth. Well, then, so her character comes to life, and then they have to figure out how to get her back. And the only way to get her back is for them to write the book together. Very interesting. You'll love it.
What's the title gonna be? Do you know? I
It's
will
called
love
The
it.
Lost Lady of Avonhurst. And the reason,
So there you go. Excuse me. Shelby West asked if you have upcoming releases. Do you know when this will be like ready?
well,
I know I'm not sure at all.
I can't, I'm having a hard time with the ending. Otherwise it's ready. It's just literally the last like chapter that I'm having.
I hate that when that happens.
Mhm.
Put it away. Don't think about it for like a month, and it's just going to come to you one day. It will.
I've been thinking about it for like 6 years.
Oh, never mind. Caitlin, can you help your mom? Please help her.
Maybe I'll send it to you, and then you can tell me what the end should be.
Oh, I'll end it for you. Come on, Diana. It's done now. Here we go. Here's your ending. Michelle wants to know, does Caitlin have the writing bug too, or is it all you? That's a great question.
No, not really.
You could write a book called "My Mom Is an Asshole and So Is Her Dog." That would be a good,
That's what I said.
a good
You wanna write that
karma.
book?
Yeah.
She will publish it for you if you write
I
it.
will.
Okay.
I will. I really will.
Mhm. That would be
Only
funny.
because just the cross promo of the marketing, Diana. You can't blame me.
I agree. So her creativity or her
Put them on the same graphic.
right. Well, her creative outlet is like makeup and hair and stuff like that. I keep telling her she needs to do her like an eyebrow tutorial, so we all know how to do our.
Oh yeah, you could do a YouTube channel, a beauty channel.
Mhm.
They have tons of those.
I keep telling her.
Why not? Yeah.
Why not?
Because
Weren't you doing some modeling,
it
Caitlin?
wouldn't get any views.
Are you still doing modeling?
Am I?
Modeling?
Yeah.
No?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you like it?
Her show wouldn't get any views.
It wouldn't.
That's not true.
Why wouldn't it?
I don't know. I just felt like
My show doesn't get any views, but you know, we keep going. That's all good. Nice
Right? You
show.
just keep going and going and going until you get views.
You do. You just don't give up, and eventually it adds
Right.
up. And you have your mom. Have you met her? She can get you views. She's your mom. She's like good at this stuff. She'd walk into the town hall and say, "Watch my daughter do eyebrows." She would.
I'll get her somewhere if she just does
All
it.
right.
But I do, you know what I'm really
So for
excited about
Shelby's
though?
sake, what was that, Diana?
Oh, the book I'm really excited about though that I still have to write is Electric Man. That's going to be a good one.
Yeah, that's what I was going to lead you to that now.
Mm-hmm.
Shelby
I have to
needs to
write
hear
it.
about this. She will love this book. Tell her what that's about.
It's loosely based on real events.
So loose.
Yeah, it's about a woman who's a widow and ends up getting in a relationship and finding out that the guy that she's dating is pretty much a sociopath without a diagnosis, of course. So, I mean, it's just a guess. But he pretty much is a sociopath, and he strings her along, and he spends all her money, and he lets her daughter become very attached to him, and he plays these roles, and he does all this good stuff. All the while, though, he's having an affair with a 20-something-year-old, and he's like 50, right? And I think his ex-girlfriend, I don't know, I still have to figure this out, but young girls, ex-girlfriends, new women, you know, whatever, he drinks a lot. And so then, yeah, it's about their relationship and how she sort of figures it all out, which he doesn't know that she has access to some of his stuff, and there's a lot of lies and twists and turns and stuff.
Yeah, that book is gonna be a page turner. Like, what? He did what?
I'm afraid that my main character is going to come off like she's kind of stupid, like she missed all these signs, but she didn't actually miss the signs. She was busy being a widow and doing stuff in her own life and everything, but she also really wanted to believe the best in him. At least that's what
I don't think that's going to be hard to put there. You could, if you're really worried about that. Well, no, you couldn't, because it's only loosely. I'll help you with that. I know what you could do.
Okay.
We got to be smart about how we do it, but I've got an idea for that. So don't worry about that. Just write the book and
right.
Give readers some credit.
Huh?
Too. Give the readers credit. Like, if the character, I don't know where my camera is on this thing. The character is a widow who's got a family and a house and all the responsibilities of trying to, like, refigure out her life. They are going to get that she's a little preoccupied and isn't
Right.
like. The other thing is, she just came out, not to her own fault, of a great, solid, trusty relationship. So normal, there's your word. People would think that, oh, well, other relationships can be good too. You know, if you're in a great relationship, it's not weird to assume that relationships are great until, you know.
They're not. Like, so I think my character, if I was, you know, basing this all on fiction, my character would be like somebody who came out of a relationship with somebody who's very solid and decent and kind and honest and generous, all the things. Maybe he'll be a police officer or something. I don't know. We'll figure that out. But so say that he was, you know, he was a great person, and then she gets into a relationship with someone else, and she doesn't know that people are wretched, you know.
That's what I'm saying. She would have no reason. And the other thing, if she is a great person, when you're a solid person who does the right thing, it's really easy to get fooled because you think other people wouldn't lie. Other people would pay royalties. I mean, I could do this with you. I get it. you assume everyone operates the way you do because it's the right thing to do and that's what you're supposed to do.
Right.
So I don't necessarily think readers would think she was dumb. I think tell the story. I'm going to read it anyway, and I will tell you, Diana, she looks dumb. Let's fix her up. I promise. I will read it and tell you, honestly. This is what beta readers are for, and I'm dying to read this, so I volunteer.
I think she's going to look like somebody who just really wanted, you know, to see the good in it. You know what I mean? Really wanted to see the good in it, really wanted it to work, really wanted to just put everything into it. And I think there's a lot of women out there who feel the same way and do the same things, and then they end up either staying in these relationships because then they feel too dumb to leave, or you know, whatever the reason why. And I hope that they see that they don't have to, because if this my pretend widow character can have kids and go through what she did and then come out of that relationship and still be positive and alive and doing all the stuff, then so can they. You know what I mean? It's just another book. You just have to you have to be able to rely on the right people and yourself.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
I'm really excited.
Readers will see that. I am excited about that one too, just because I feel like I know a lot of the story as you were in the process of writing it, we'll say. Shelby says she can't wait for all the books. And I can't either. She wants release dates. Okay, so Electric Man is going to be March of 2021, Shelby, because it's going to be in the Possessed box set. I don't know about her other ones because we can now got to get an ending on this time travel one. Grief Life Matters is in August. I don't know the exact date, but I can find out easily.
I think it was August 19th or something.
We're going to know for sure in 2 seconds. But yeah. No, okay, we won't open there. It's going to kill us. So I'm just learning how to use the technology of this. But yeah, August is Grief Matters. Do you have any other ones, Diana, that I'm not thinking of now scheduled? No.
Oh, can you plug me in? I don't think so. The charger's here, Caitlin.
Okay.
You just have to unplug the. I was gonna make one more post and get people to come in and ask us questions. What do you want to play? Whoa, that's okay. I have lots and lots of ideas for books. It's just a matter of finding time to write them, you know, obviously. But, you know what, John Watson? You know what else I am writing that I have like 3 chapters done, but I really want to write it, is a dystopian novel. And it's a series. It's a series.
Wow.
Here, hold on. I'll tell you. You want me to tell you what it's about?
Yes.
So
that's a leap. I mean, I'm interested in this. Just go for it. That's such a leap for you. Love it.
I should send you what I have because it's really, really cool. All 3 chapters that I have. But so my son came up with this idea, and basically, I don't want anybody to steal my idea, so I'm going to copyright it right now.
Don't tell the whole idea.
Okay, hun. I have to tell the whole idea.
Only the blurb.
Well, basically, it's a 3-part series about the end of the world, right? And like the world has literally depleted all their resources. We have nothing left. And then scientists have actually learned how to turn water into ocean water into drinking water. So everybody lives near the ocean. But there's 2 laws that have to be followed: murder and theft, and those are the only 2 laws. And if you violate those, then you automatically go to death row because they're just not playing games anymore. They don't have the resources or anything like that. Yeah,
there's no time.
But you can only stay on death row until you're like 30, okay? Because they need you for strength and stuff like that. And then after you get to be too old, which in my book is 30, they kill you, right? So,
God,
yeah, you know, so you know, whatever. Anyway, so
you killed us all.
Yeah, like because they don't have the resources to take care of you.
Right.
So anyway, so on death row, when this book is written, is a group of people, you know, that we all come to love, young adults and whatever. There's like 12 of them or whatever, along with some other people. And they also take care of a little girl named Olivia, who's like 10 or something like that. And her parents died on death row. So they're taking care of her, right? And they're loving on her, whatever. Well, anyway, it's kind of a long story short type thing, but the government comes and says, hey, we've found another planet and it's perfect. It's got all the grass and it's got all the sun and it's got all the water that you need, everything. So if you guys go and check it out for us and you survive, then we'll like make you governors, right? So they're like, something's not right here, right? Because either they're going to die or they're not going to be made governors. So so the first book is all about that and getting them ready to go. The second book is them going and then finding out that the government wasn't going to be very honest. And then some stuff happens at the end of the second book that I can't tell you about with Olivia, the little girl. So in the third book, there's sort of this avengement type thing. I want to write that.
Is like not genre, a plan. I'm with Watson. He says interesting, and yeah,
Have you
I think
read
so
it?
too.
What I wrote, the first couple of pages. Did you like it?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's actually really good. But you know, like probably like me, like a lot of writers, I feel like I have to finish one thing and then I can move on to the next thing. And so I honestly feel like I need to finish up Grief Matters and then maybe do Electric Man, and then I can move into my dystopian novel. But I think it would be really good. I think it's really good. As a matter of fact.
Yeah. Oh, that sounds like it's awesome. Now, is Olivia based off of Caitlin?
Her? Based off of her?
Is Olivia Caitlin? Yeah.
Yeah. Her middle name is Olivia.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Mm-hmm.
Her middle name, did you say her middle name is Olivia?
Yep.
Oh, that's sweet. I had a feeling. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I want to know the ending now, but I don't want you to say it. So.
What'd you say?
See, you two are buddies. You just don't know it.
No, we know it. Mm-hmm.
All right, guys. Any other questions from the peanut gallery over here?
Oh, well, thank you guys for coming in and asking your questions. We appreciate it.
Diana, is there anything you want to tell readers about you, your books, anything?
Well, I think, geez, I don't know, man.
I know.
Like, I can tell you this much. Like when Grief Life came out, and with it, it did really well, and people, I get still to this day get messages from women or even men who read it and are very touched by it. And I just want you guys to know, like, that was the whole reason. Like, it was never for anything else. I still, I work a full-time job. I still, but like to pay my bills. Like, I don't make any money off of this book, but I love that it helps people, and I hope that the word keeps getting out there and getting out there and getting out there, that maybe it'll help somebody else, And so that's pretty much it. I'm just very, very thankful for everybody who, jumped in and bought a copy of the book and made it what it was. Because really it was just my thoughts, like just those.
Yeah, and it's a
random
special
thoughts.
book.
Mm-hmm.
I get messages too from people saying, yeah, I do. I can start forwarding them to you if you want, but people do, they're touched by it because it, I edited that book. So obviously I know that book, and it's just such a raw, like, it's honest. That's what I love about you. That's my favorite thing about you as a person, but also as an author. You are not afraid to touch those topics that you're not afraid to be vulnerable, and that takes major strength. And I don't know if you were always that way or if it took losing Chad to get there, but it's such a great thing. And I think it's why people are so drawn to you, because you're so real. You know what I mean? I don't know. I love it.
Well, I love that, because like the people that come to my page and stuff, like there's a lot of people, it's like the same people a lot of the time, and I love that. I feel like I know these people, and so that makes me feel joy. Like I feel like I have people in my corner all the time, and so I just, I hope everybody gets that at some point. I really do.
And that you've touched people and made a difference.
Well, I'd love to see the
I mean,
messages.
what? Sorry, what?
I would love to see the messages that you have. That would be
Okay, I can start sending them. I mean, they're random here and there. I get them. I
yeah.
get a lot of messages about different books, but I will start sending those.
Okay.
I mean, you're a dispatcher. Obviously,
Yeah.
you care about the community and people and helping and all those things.
Yeah.
So just know that in this way you've done that as well, and that's pretty cool.
Oh, well, thanks. I appreciate it. Anything else you
Well,
want to
it was nice to meet you, Caitlin. Do you got anything to say about Mom, the author? Is it hard to have Mom writing, or
Just that I love her.
say? Aww.
that's so sweet?
I'm gonna fall.
Sorry, come back. Come back. Here we go. She's on here.
All right, guys.
Okay.
Sorry about this delay we've had tonight. That's too bad, but I mean, hey, we got to hear each other enough to pull it off. So that's what
That's
counts.
for sure. Well, we'll do it again. We'll do it again.
We will. We can do it. I think it might be the time of night it's really busy, or it could just be one of our connections. I don't know, but it's all right. We got the point across, and I'm just really glad that we were able to put out Grief Life, that I didn't keep ignoring you, and that you were persistent, because it's been awesome since Diana. And I hope that, that book is a special, like it came out the way you wanted, because once I really heard and understood, I was like, all right, fine, drop everything. This is important. And so I felt honored that you even let me touch it,
Yeah.
So it
Well,
worked out
I
for me
knew.
too.
I mean, there were some problems with the book with another publisher, and so
Yeah.
I knew immediately that I needed to get it out of those hands and put in the right place and in
Yeah.
the right place. So I really appreciate
Yeah.
that. It's just been
It
amazing.
worked out.
Mhm.
Yep. Remember, I mean, I formatted it and I go, it's 149 pages, and you're like, ah! I'm like, what? Why are you acting like that? You crazy lady. And then you told me, and I was like, of course it is.
Mhm.
He's been following me since with that number all the time. I'm like, there's Diana again.
Yeah.
I don't know. All
I
right,
want to read the
guys.
book to see.
Yeah, you guys, if you haven't read it, it really will.
That's Kate.
Even if you haven't been through a loss, what a deep book. It's good.
No? You don't want to read it?
Not right now.
Oh, she might not
Maybe
want to read
someday.
that. So, yeah, I think that might be a save for later.
Yeah.
It's there when she's ready, or never.
Yep.
No wrong answers.
Well,
I just don't like reading.
she don't like reading. Yeah. So you can
well,
listen to it.
mine don't either. I don't know how we authors get kids that hate reading, but I saw Ebony had that problem today too, so we're not alone. All right, guys, I'm gonna log us out. Thank you for coming on tonight, Diana. We'll try it again when we don't have this lagging thing and whatever.
Okay.
But I hope your ankle feels better. We are both in the same boat with that.
Thank you.
You said that, and I'm like, really? I just did that 3 days ago.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
Walking through
Thanks.
the room and fell on it. So.
That was me. I just walked down the steps. Boom. I'm like, really? You can't even walk.
Mhm.
Whatever. All right, guys. Thanks for being here, guys. Please
Thank
hit
you so
like on
much.
this video. It helps me.
Bye.
Bye-bye, guys.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
We're in the show.